Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Michigan State's football team had a bye this weekend and is focused on bouncing back from the loss to USC and next week's game at Nebraska. Typically during football season, we'll sit down with head coach Jonathan Smith. We did not talk with Smith this week because of the bye. However, on Monday, we did talk with probably the most famous person on campus, Tom Izzo. The Michigan State men's basketball team held their first practice of this season on Monday, and Izzo talked about a number of topics. The last time we saw the Michigan State men's basketball team, it was in Atlanta when they suffered a 70-64 loss to Auburn. A lot has changed since then. Jace Richardson was selected in the first round of the NBA draft by the Orlando Magic. Jaden Akins graduated, and Trey Holloman transferred to NC State. Those were MSU's top 3 leading scorers last season. Despite those departures, though, Tom Izzo is feeling very good about this year's squad.
Remember last year at this time, who knew Jace would be what Jace was? Who knew, how things would go? Some in a positive way, a couple in a negative way that weren't as good as we had hoped and thought. So every year is a new year, and every year, I guess that's the good news. The next couple of weeks are going to tell us a lot when we get into the fray. We got 11 or 12 guys that we can play. We played 11 and 10 last year. I don't know if it'll be the same minutes, because last year they were all 22 to 18, 24 to 16. I think it could be more 28s to down, but I do think we'll play people. And of course, their schedule is brutal, and yet I think that's going to be good for us in the long run.
Another thing that's changed since the season-ending loss to Auburn is Auburn's coach. On Monday, just hours before the Spartans held their first practice of the season, Bruce Pearl announced he is stepping down as Auburn's head coach, and his son Steven will be taking over. It led to Izzo giving a little life update on Monday.
Kind of a strange day with Pearl. I said, everybody that beats me in the tournament resigns. Mike Krzyzewski beat me, he resigned that year. Bruce Pearl beat me, he resigned that year, or retired, or whatever the words are, but still stuck with me, sorry. Kind of good day for me, though, because I'm not resigning. The second thing is I just had a granddaughter. So this morning at, I got 2 now, so 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning, and it's the first day of practice, so that's a pretty good day for me. Sophie's her name, Sophie. She's, I think she was 21 inches and 7'11" or 7'8" pounds, somewhere in that area.
The captains for Michigan State this season will be the 4 key returning players in Cohen Carr, Jeremy Fierce Jr., Carson Cooper, and Jackson Kohler. It's just the 4th time for Izzo, who is entering his 31st season as MSU's head coach. He has had 4 captains.
It was picked by the players, and that was really encouraging for me. You'd say, well, shouldn't there be one? Jeremy was, people got different votes, but it was really close. But it is the 4 guys that should. And Jackson and Coop have really taken that. Their personality's a little different. I've been really pleased with that part of it. Now, do I think Jeremy's got to be the guy to step up in the end, because you can't have 4 voices all the time? I do think that kind of tells you what the team thinks of those guys, and that's exciting to me.
A few weeks ago, Michigan State went through its annual grind week, where former players show up and work out with the current team. NBA players like Draymond Green, Mateen Cleaves, and Jaren Jackson Jr. were in attendance. They even attended the MSU football game against Boston College, and Izzo was impressed with how things went.
This was the greatest grind week of all, because we had over 60-some players that came back. But I had some players calling out my guys for some of the strangest things. One of them was losing a game to the pros. And I just sat back, watched them, their own language, tell them what they thought, and watched our guys respond. Draymond Miles was at a different level. Caitlin Lucas was at a different level than having guys. I tell you, like McQuaid, having a McQuaid back was really important. Gary Harris, it was the best grind week we've had. Travis was great, and I say that only because of what you just said. I didn't say, would you please talk to my team? Would you please do this and that?
The men's basketball team will begin the new campaign on November 3rd at home against Colgate, while the women's basketball team will begin the season a day after at the Breslin Center against Mercyhurst. So while we wait for hoop season to begin in East Lansing, the soccer season is picking up steam, and both the Michigan State men's and women's soccer teams picked up some big-time Big Ten victories this past week. We'll have more on that after the break.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Big Ten play is off and running for both the Michigan State men's and women's soccer programs. Last week, the women played to a 1-1 draw with number 4 UCLA. Then on Sunday, the Spartans hosted USC at DeMartin Stadium for another Big Ten clash. Kennedy Bell scored the lone goal for MSU against UCLA. She got the scoring started in the first 48 seconds against USC last Sunday, and MSU never looked back. Later in the first half, Emerson Sargent plays the ball through to Bell. She's looking for her second goal. The shot, though, goes just wide. In the second half, Bell with a sweet pass into the box, and Kayla Briggs buries the shot to give the Spartans a 2-0 lead. It was the second goal of the year for Briggs. About 15 minutes later, Briggs returns the favor. A sliding pass across to Bell, who finishes it off. Her team-leading 7th goal of the season. Bell won the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week award for her performance against the West Coast schools. The Spartans shut out USC 4-0, and our Kara Adams was there and has more on the first Big Ten win of the season for Jeff Hostler and company.
The Michigan State women's soccer team won their first Big Ten game of the season in dominant fashion.
The vibes have been good, into Friday and Saturday, and the prep for a really good USC team. To come out and get a result, not just get a result, but get a resounding result like we did today in the scoreline. I'm hearing all the giggles and everything else. They're going to be pretty excited about this. And I think be ready for a big road trip coming next week.
It was the roommate duo of Kayla Briggs and Kennedy Bell who combined for 3 of MSU's 4 goals.
That's my roomie. So having that connection, it's great. We talk about it all the time. And now we were talking about it last time, we're learning each other. Now we're knowing when Kayla drove, I'm getting in that box because I know Kayla's good enough to put it there.
Kayla left everything on the field both games. And she always brings that mentality. She always works incredibly hard. She gives everything she has. But, she's got so much quality in her product that she brings as well. And I really challenged the group at halftime because I felt she had the highest player load on the day Thursday. She covered the most ground. She played the full 90 minutes in a back-and-forth match. And she's out here giving everything she can, doing the exact same things on a Sunday where I don't think all of our starters were doing that. And she really set the tone for them.
Kennedy Bell now leads the team with 7 goals on the season.
Kennedy's an explosive player. Her ability to press and take you off the ball is uncommon. Her ability to understand when and how to run in behind is elite. And I think she's only scratching the surface of her ability as a 9. This is a brand new position for her all year. And I think I could say that across the board with our group. We've got players in different roles and different positions that it's all started to come together this week. As long as Kennedy's getting forward and being dangerous, scoring goals, creating play, it frees up even more moments for our midfielders and our other players in the attack.
Freshman goalkeeper Noelle Henning also recorded her 2nd shutout of the season.
Definitely boost my confidence and the team confidence for sure. now just going into these next games going to be big and imposing as a goalkeeper, and then also just being a supporting role as a team.
After hitting the road at Minnesota, the Spartans will wrap up their first Big Ten road trip of the season at Wisconsin on Sunday. In DeMartin Stadium, I'm Kara Adams.
Thank you, Kara. On Tuesday, the Michigan State men's soccer team welcomed in number 3 Indiana as the Spartans were looking for their first Big Ten win of the season. In the first half, Collins Aduro takes the shot. MSU keeper Zach Kelly has the ball slip through his hands, and Josh Mayer finds the back of the net. However, it was called back due to a foul on IU for hitting Kelly in the air. So things were 0-0 at the break. Just 3 minutes into the second half, MSU with a corner kick. The Indiana goalie punches it out. However, MSU's Peter Sudan, the freshman, buries the rebound to make it 1-0 Spartans. Indiana was looking for the equalizer. Aduro with the crossing, and Kelly comes up with another clutch save. He had 5 saves on the night to help the Spartans upset the number 3 ranked Hoosiers 1-0 and earning the highest ranked win the program has had since 2014.
Well, we just competed. They deserved it. I'm happy for them. We've been playing some really good soccer over these games, and sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. I thought we were unlucky now to get something out of Washington and certainly Ohio State, and I thought the guys really buckled down. We talked about defending inside the box. I thought our defenders and Zach Kelly were brilliant.
I mean, I think it showcases really entirely what this team's about. We talked about it in the locker room, we talk about it in the film room, we talk about it at the practice field, but for us to come out here and do this tonight, I mean, it's just a testament to that and how hard we've been working to try to just get a few things to click and clean up a few things, but I'm really proud of this group.
The next time the women's soccer team will play at home will be October 5th against Ohio State, while the next time the men are at home will be October 3rd against Penn State. The MSU volleyball program has also gotten off to a great start this season. We'll have more with them right after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Last week, MSU redshirt freshman Malaya Long was named the Big Ten Volleyball Freshman of the Week after she had 147 assists in 3 matches. Long used her redshirt last year at Marquette and then transferred to MSU in the offseason. She previously knew MSU head coach Kristen Kelsey before college, and it's a big reason why she came to East Lansing. Our Sherian McBroom sat down with Long recently and has more on her story.
For redshirt freshman setter Malaya Long, her life has always revolved around sports, and many people would say it's a family way of life. And for her, the only decision was what sport she was going to play.
And our whole family is a huge sports family. My mom played professionally, my dad played in college and coached, and we all just love the game, whether it's basketball, volleyball. But I think just growing up watching my sister, I'd be out in the front yard and she would be smacking balls at me and I would just be the little sister, and I think I really grew a love.
And just like every sport, life is never what it seems. And when Long was a child, she lost one of the most important people in her life.
My dad passed away when I was 10, and I just found this extra sort of motivation that I wanted to play, college volleyball, and I knew it was going to take work. He was always the loudest one in the stands. He'd be like, "That's my girl Mo!" He'd call me Mo Monster, so that's kind of where my nickname came from. So.
And even though he may not be in the stands at her matches, Long knew her dad was still looking down on her and still cheering.
The thing that really set me apart was my why, and I think a lot of people play volleyball just because they love the sport. But I think that my true intention was to play for something bigger than just myself, and I think that at the end of the day, I knew I wanted it and I was going to do whatever it took to get there.
While dealing with her dad passing away and everything else that came over the years, Long says it was her mother who carried the weight of the world on her shoulders and was the backbone for their family.
I think that she's been truly someone I look up to in every aspect of life. She is a super strong individual, and especially raising 3 kids by herself after my dad passed, she has been our rock, and she showed that it's going to be hard and it's going to take a lot of extra work, but you have to fight for what you want, and sometimes that's going to be easier said than done, but she's really been that backbone for me to, want to push myself and just to keep making her proud, but also like making my dad proud. I would say she is a really big reason why I'm here today.
You transferred here to Michigan State. I guess going into your mindset, what kind of led to your transfer of leaving Marquette and coming here?
My coach at Marquette left, and so he went to Florida. And I think that kind of sparked some, maybe I need to find something, that's really going to be beneficial for me. I think I lost myself a little bit last year I was a redshirt, and I'm an extreme competitor. I love to win. I love to fight. And I think that nothing wrong with the school, but I think I just lost a little something. And even my family knew, they're like, that's not Malaya.
And for Michigan State head volleyball coach Kristen Kelsey, she jumped at the opportunity to bring Long to East Lansing.
So I did a year of club volleyball out in Lincoln, Nebraska at Volleyball Club Nebraska, and I had the opportunity to coach her and her team a little bit that spring and summer at Nationals. And we developed a pretty special bond then, honestly, and helped her find her way to Marquette, was her recruiting corner during that process. And so when things aligned, right, and Ryan Tice took the Florida job, and she decided to make that change, for me it was a no-brainer, and we brought her on campus and she fell in love with this place, and she's doing a really great job. I'm really proud of her.
How have you worked to, even with kind of having a relationship with Kristen coming in here, how have you kind of worked to, I guess, develop your own space and kind of get back to the love of volleyball, but also excelling while doing so in the program as, new teammates, new coaches, new everything?
Transferring is always kind of scary, coming in, especially into a new position of wanting to fight for a spot. And Kristen made it very clear that as much as our relationship is super strong, I still had to fight for it every single day. And, at the end of the day, you gotta, work for it. And it wasn't gonna come, it wasn't just gonna be given. And that's something I really valued.
What kind of drives you to try to bring that leadership day in and day out, even though you might be one of the younger players on the team?
My people, they allow me to play who I am. And, it's really easy to come into a gym where you just feel like you can be yourself, and I think that everyone, including the coaches, have allowed me just to be who I am.
Long helped the volleyball team go 10-0 in non-conference play, and coming up after the break, we'll sit down with first-year head coach Kristen Kelsey to figure out more about what's been working so well early in the season. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The Michigan State volleyball team went 10-0 in non-conference play this season. It's the 4th time the program has gone undefeated in non-conference play, and the first time since 2012. Current head coach Kristen Kelsey was a junior on that team, and she is also the first-year head coach to start a season 10-0. We recently had a chance to sit down with Kelsey to talk more about the early season success as well as this past week's Kathy DeBoer Invitational.
It's been a really great, fun start to our season. And I think what I most enjoyed and been most proud of them for is that the way that they've responded to every challenge and everything we've thrown at them, right? Our preseason, our non-conference schedule really was designed that way, so that every match gave them a new challenge. And even in the ways that we won it, right? Winning a 5-set match, having to play 3 matches in a row, going down 1-2, up 2-0. They just kept responding. Even against SIUE on Saturday, we started a different lineup every set. And so it was me that was challenging them, and they just continue to respond. And that resiliency and that confidence building is what I was hoping for going into, as we know, the best conference in the country in the Big Ten play. So I'm really proud of them for the work that they've done and excited to see that play out now in conference.
Last time MSU went 10-0 in non-conference play was your junior year, I believe. Is there any similarities with the two teams?
Oh man, that feels like such a long time ago. I think for us, we were really working for our non-conference schedule just to kind of find our lineup, right? We had a number of additions over the summer that I had never seen play live. We had a lot of position battles going on. So it allowed us some time to try out a couple different things. And like I said, really proud of just the way they responded as our schedule got tougher and tougher the closer we got to the Big Ten.
How have you been tested as a coach? Obviously first year as a head coach, but how have you tested your skills as well too?
Man, I feel like I'm being stretched every day, but in the best way. As a head coach, right, your responsibilities are different. There are some things that only a head coach can do, whether that's conversations with the athletes or choosing the starting lineup or conversations on campus, And so the challenge is different, but the mission and the why are the same. And so that's what I go back to, right? On the great days, on the hard days, I'm here for these athletes to have a transformational experience. And I'm here for Michigan State to be a winning volleyball program. And so the decisions I make, the conversations I have, the way I show up is always with those two things at the forefront.
When you have so many new players on a team, what have you maybe done to help bring them all together, either on the court or off the court?
Yeah, I mean, our team did such a phenomenal job this summer. We don't have summer access, so we cannot work with them in the summer. And it's a lot of captain's practices, a lot of working out with the strength coach. And I can have meals with them, right? I don't know if you saw, they come over to my house and I grill, which I don't really know how to do, I'm learning. So we are able to have meals and those conversations with them. But really proud of our team for integrating those athletes with our values. And that was a foundation we've been building since January 1. Since the moment I got hired, we've been talking about what our values as a program are going to be and how we're going to live them, not just present them a sheet with our mission statement. Like we live them and we talk about them every day. And by the time August rolled around, our newcomers were so integrated because of our team and the leadership within it. It made it a lot easier to transition into that process.
What's been your favorite thing to grill for them?
Oh man, okay, we made fried rice the last time, and it was the most food in one place I think I've ever seen. Like there's rice everywhere. Eni, our social media content creator, helped me with the seasoning and all that stuff, but it was difficult. But it was their favorite, so it was worth it.
This past week, obviously, it was alumni weekend for the program. What was it like to see so many alumni come back to support your program now?
It was surreal. I mean, it was the largest alumni weekend on record. Over 70 alumni came back. We honored 2 teams. It was just so special. And it was so special because these women are the women who laid the foundation for us to do what we do today. But it was even more special for how much our current team loved it. I shared a story of we had a practice on Saturday morning and we had over 30, 40 alums come by practice, introduce themselves, share their stories. And I sneak up to film and I walk in the back and Evie is sharing with her teammates how she was in tears, looking out at all the alumni and seeing every one of her next stages of life, right? The recent grads with young kids, the less recent grads with older kids, and then the 1975 team. And she's like, I started getting emotional saying that's gonna be us one day, And it was so cool to see our team so enthralled and so impacted by their stories. So I think it was a really the best of both worlds.
As you get ready for Big Ten play now, obviously that's, like you mentioned, the toughest conference in the country. Yeah. When you have those moments like this past weekend, how can that help maybe this group not put so much pressure on themselves when they know that, it's just they're playing a sport. It's something they can take with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the Spartan family a lot, right? And what a privilege and honor it is to be a Spartan and to play for all those women who were here, and to be part of that. And so when it comes, those moments get really big, right? We're gonna have some really big moments, whether it's home against Michigan or on the road at Minnesota. How do we stay present, right? How do you acknowledge the situation and the privilege and how cool of an opportunity this is, but then just staying present with each other. And I've been talking to them about this whole preseason is that it's going to take all of us. Every athlete you saw on Saturday, our entire roster who was healthy played, right? It's going to take all of us. And so when your number is called or your opportunity comes, Are you doing the necessary work to be ready for that? And they have been, and so that's where confidence comes from. It doesn't come from me telling them, oh, you're 10-0. It comes from them overcoming challenges and for them winning when they're down 2-1 or winning when there's a lineup in there they've never played with before. That's what's to prepare them for those moments.
The Spartans will have their Big Ten home opener on Saturday at the Breslin Center against rival Michigan. You can watch the match on the Big Ten Network at 8 o'clock this Saturday. That'll be it for this week's show. As always, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.
Now, the play of the week, sponsored by Schupan & Sons.
The Indiana program. Punched out. Michigan State, off the far post and in. The finish for Michigan State. Peter Sudan, number 17. And the Spartans finally get a decent shot, and they lead it 1-0.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.